ABC7 is being brought to you by Southwest. Yes to low fares with nothing to hide. That's transparency. By Hyundai. Visit your Chicago and Northwest Indiana Hyundai dealers today and see how better drives us. And by the Bob LaCourcio Auto Group. You're going to like buying a car this way.
Want to wish a very special happy birthday to Loretta Doland of Villa Park, turning 103 today. She looks spectacular. Loretta is a lifelong Cubs fan. Graham, as they call her, never misses a broadcast. We thank her for that, but she is settled in right now because she knows just how important these games are becoming. And this has really been boiled down to a 40-game race in the Central. Sure, the Cubs like their view from first place, but they've, by their own admission, regressed to the ups and downs of the first half. Today, Joe Maddon admitting that the Cubs need to show a little bit more mental game as they head over the home stretch and set themselves up for postseason success.
For right now, I think we're still, still been a good second half. It's been a really good second half, but we have to get that consistency. Like the Cincinnati series should have won 3 out of 4. Didn't. Got 2 out of 4. That was definitely a 3 out of 4 series. It was there for us. We didn't do it. So we got to start winning series on a consistent basis. That would be the best method, I think, or the most simple method or way to explain it to the guys. We just got to start winning some series on a consistent basis.
And if they do that, they can make a little breathing room in the division. We take a look at the Bob LaCourcio Auto Group NL Central standing. Cubs with a 1.5-game lead on St. Louis, 2 games ahead of the Brewers. Those 2 clubs not going away. But the Cubs are truly just focused on what they can control, and that's winning games. A victory today would certainly guarantee a series win and set them up for a solid weekend at home. And they would love to do that. Settle in to see what happens. Blue Jays and Cubs are coming your way. Len and JD will take it from here. Enjoy the game, everybody.
On ABC7 is being brought to you by Mercedes-Benz, the best or nothing. By Lakeside Bank, personal customized banking. Lakeside Bank, it's about time. And by Dodge, join the Brotherhood of Muscle at the Dodge Summer Clearance Event going on now. Well, the Blue Jays have invaded Chicago, and my wife took those shots of a Blue Jay, a real Blue Jay, in our backyard this morning. Said her first Blue Jay sighting in about a month. Pretty cool. Today's HD broadcast is brought to you by Xfinity. Xfinity X1 will change the way you experience TV.
There weren't any Cardinals back there in your yard.
Not see any Cardinals or Orioles. There's Blue Jay fans opportunity to get to Wrigley Field for the first time since 2005, and only the second time all time in interleague play. Cubs a 7-4 winner in game 1 yesterday. There's a new second place team in the division. The Cardinals now have jumped ahead of the Brewers. Cardinals held off the Pirates last night 11-10 in Pittsburgh. The Brewers lost in Colorado, so the Cubs have a 1.5 game lead over St. Louis, 2 ahead of the Brewers.
Yeah, Cardinals offensively have been lights out. They've won 10 of their last 13. They're averaging 8 runs per game over their last dozen ball games. They've scored 10 or more 5 times in that stretch, and had to hang on for dear life as the Pirates made a late run at them last night, but managed to win the ball game 11-10.
More interleague action last night. Dodgers beating the Tigers, and kind of a strange moment here. Justin Upton with a home run that just got over the wall, and he wasn't quite sure if he hit first base, so he had already passed second base and decided, you know what, with replay, and I think he probably did touch the bag.
Yeah,
so hang on a second, let me make sure.
Let's go on back there. I don't know who the first base umpire was, but you could tell he was taking a very keen look at his first go around. So,
and again, the Dodgers won that game. They're now 51-9 over their last 60 games. They acquired Curtis Granderson from the Mets. Granderson is in their lineup today. The Cubs today made a move. They claimed veteran catcher Rene Rivera off waivers from the Mets, and to make room for him on the 40-man roster, right-hander Aaron Brooks designated for assignment. He had been pitching at AAA Iowa. Rivera expected to join the big league team either tomorrow or Tuesday when we head to Cincinnati, known for a very solid defense. And the Cubs, you know, had some depth issues certainly behind the plate now with Contreras out.
Right, and so now you have a guy like Rivera who's rock solid defensively. He doesn't do a whole lot with the bat, but good catch and throw guy, can shut down the running game. And he's a guy, again, should Avila get hurt and you have to turn over regular playing time to another catcher, you feel pretty comfortable with Rivera's work behind the dish.
Let's do your Mercedes-Benz keys.
Okay, let's do a Q rating. Well, Quintana, as we showed you in our open, he's been really good against the Jays. A 1.77 ERA. That is the lowest ERA he has against any club that he's made more than 3 starts against. Clipped wing. The Blue Jays are banged up right now. They've got some guys on the DL, and in this series here in the National League Park, Kendrys Morales, who has outstanding numbers against Quintana, normally would be DHing, but he's on the bench today. And strike early, Nick Tepish, as we mentioned, just 3 big league starts so far this year, does not have overpowering stuff, so probably not going to go out there with a big reservoir of confidence and really chip away at that if you do some early damage against him.
So Quintana gets ready for this Blue Jays lineup, brought to you by Fix Auto. A lot of thump at the top with Bautista, Donaldson, and Smoke, who has 33 homers on the year. Pierce in the cleanup spot. Kevin Pillar plays center. Picked up 2 doubles yesterday, so has 30 on the year. Former Cub Darwin Barney plays shortstop today. Troy Tulowitzki is out for the remainder of the season. Another former Cub, Rafi Lopez, the catcher, Rob Refsnyder. That's his batting average as a Blue Jay. He was acquired recently from the Yankees. And the pitcher, Tepish, that's 9th.
Cubs defensively brought to you by Plumbers 911. Emergency plumbing services 1 click away at plumbers911.com. Schwarber, Jay Hayward in the outfield. Bryant Baez, Happ Rizzo on the infield. Baez a spectacular play yesterday. Anthony has now got an errorless streak of 100 consecutive games at first base. Alex Avila is behind the plate. Jose Quintana, as we mentioned, standing 60 feet 6 inches away, ready to go to work with a 7-10 record and a 4.33 ERA. As a Cub, he is 3-2 with a 3.86.
That's Joe West, a crew chief, major league record 39-year tenure. Third on the all-time games worked list behind only Bill Clem and Bruce Fremming. Fletcher, Wendelstedt, and May are on the bases today. Gorgeous weather once again. Happy Air and Water Show weekend. Happy Pilsen Fest weekend. Some other fests going on as well. Bautista announced, and we're about ready to go.
It's pretty, as I mentioned, a pretty thin Blue Jay lineup these days. Clearly dangerous guys at the top of the order, but if you can work your way through the top three in the batting order, it softens significantly after that.
We're underway. That's a strike from the left-hander Quintana. Big leg kick in the pitch. Bautista fouls it back.
Quintana winner last time out against Cincinnati. It was a 15-5 win. He went 5 innings, allowed 4 hits, 2 runs, 1 earned. He walked 4, struck out 4, ran a pretty high pitch count, 105 pitches to get through those 5 innings.
Turns and fires, and it's high. 93 on the fastball from Jose. Cubs are 21-12 in the second half. 3-2 on this homestand. Offensively, they've been pretty impressive. They've given up some runs, though. A collective ERA this week of 5.40. Weather at first pitch is brought to you by Four Seasons Heating, Air Conditioning, and Plumbing. For all the right reasons, call 866-4Seasons. Beautiful 79 degrees. We've got a southeast wind right to left at 7 miles an hour. Not a cloud to be found. So if the Blue Jays are going to be here, you got to have blue skies too.
Blue is the theme. The Jays and the Cubs on a beautiful sunny day. Bautista just 1 out of 16 in his career against Quintana.
Got him. Strike 3 called for the first out.
Fastball with a little cutting action right to the inside corner. Borderline pitch. Joe West thought it was good enough.
Josh Donaldson 0 for 4 plus a walk yesterday. Played a little short late. Second time he'd ever played that position in the big leagues. You do what you got to do when you're an American League club playing in a National League park. And he pops it up into shallow left. Baez is out, and he one-hands it. Here comes Justin Smoke, who had 2 hits in the opener.
Yeah, real key for Jake Arrieta yesterday was shutting down Bautista and Donaldson, the top 2 in the batting order, combined for 2 reaches. An infield hit for Bautista on a ball that, had Jake left it alone, Chris Bryant probably makes a play for him, and then Donaldson took a walk in the 6th. But other than that, nothing. Smoke had a nice day.
Donaldson really came in red hot.
Yeah, and they really need those guys to do some damage.
There's the switch hitting Smoke. Takes just off the outside corner. Mentioned the Cubs atop the NL Central. The Blue Jays are out of the mix in the American League East. They're 11.5 out, tied for 4th. They are still in the wild card race, although some may say you're not really in a race until you get to 500 or above, which they have not done all year. They're only 3 games back. However, they're tied for 8th, and only the top 2 teams make it. Well, they cannot really endure losing 5 out of 6 or a 7-game losing streak or anything like that, and it'll pretty much end their chances. It's a strike on a curve.
Smoke, the switch hitter, batting .402 against left-handed pitching this year. He's having a breakout year in a big way. An all-star, he's hit 33 home runs.
Yeah, 8 years all in the American League. Texas, Seattle, and now the Blue Jays. He has done his best work with Toronto.
Yeah, I was reading a story on him earlier, and talked about how he decided to stop trying to hit home runs and just concentrate on hitting the ball hard and hit for average, and that's what he's done. But he's also hit more home runs than he ever has, so there you go.
And he got him. Good start for Quintana. As the Jays go 1-2-3 with a couple of strikeouts. Cubs coming up. Starting lineup. I mentioned this homestand as a team. 326, 402, 601 is the slash line, averaging 8 runs per game. Jay, Schwarber, Bryant at the top, Rizzo, Happ, Avila in the middle, Hayward, Baez, and Quintana at the bottom.
Jays defensively, Pierce, Pilar, Bautista in the outfield. Donaldson, Barney, Refschneider, Smoke third to first. Rafi Lopez, former Cub, behind the plate. Tepish on the mound. 28-year-old right-hander, 6'4", 240, 88, 89 miles an hour with a fastball, 4-seamers and sinkers, cutter, curve, and change.
Big dude, 6'4", 240. And the 1-1 to John Jay. Ball 2.
He's a well-traveled right-hander. He pitched for 4 different AAA clubs last year.
Three and one.
He's worn 7 or 8 different uniforms in the last 2 seasons. Originally drafted and signed by the Rangers in 2013.
Hails from the Kansas City area, Blue Springs, just east of KC. Ooh. 3-2.
Okay. Joe's going to be a little generous on that side of home plate.
He walked him.
And for his career, 10-20 is Tepesch with a 4.71 ERA. He's made 43 major league starts plus 3 appearances out of the bullpen. Does not generate a lot of swings and misses.
Kyle Schwarber's had a very good homestand, 6 out of 10, a homer, 3 walks, 2 hit by pitches, 2 RBIs, 4 runs. Average at 204. It's been in the 100s for most of the year. Pitch. 2-0.
I mentioned in our Mercedes keys to the game, strike early, and Happ is having a hard time with his release point right now.
Schwarber dropped to 196 on May 1st and had been under 200 until yesterday, when he went from 197 to 204. Check that Thursday against the Reds. He had a 3 for 5.
Normally a guy with Schwarber's power you turn loose on 3-0, but with Tepesch really having a hard time, I assume he's in take mode here. Doesn't have to be Joe.
Blue Jays went in order in the top of this inning. John Jay walked to start it for the Cubs. 3-1 on Schwarber. The pitch popped up. And some drifting, and he's got it. One away. It'll bring up Chris Bryant. One hit yesterday. It was a double. He's been on base at least once, many times, way more than once over the last 15 games. Hitting .348 here in August. Big hole on the right side. And that's a strike. Foul. Weather-wise, have we had a better weekend all year? 80 yesterday, 79 today.
Pretty sweet.
Tepesch set. 0-2. Clipped him. Just got a piece of Bryant.
The Rockies not pitching with the bases loaded and nobody out, because the 3-0 pitch to Schwarber could easily have been called a ball. But big opportunity for Anthony Rizzo, who's also been red hot. You see the movement on the 2-seamer, just grazes the lead arm there of KB, who's on base yet again.
Gibbons, a Blue Jay manager. Nice hand for Rizzo. What a week he's had. 11 hits and 12 RBIs. 5 games. outside for ball one. Cubs run expectancy is brought to you by Toyota. First and second with one out.
I was trying to give Tepish some feedback, trying to get the ball down. Just about everything has been drifting up and away on him.
In 2013, his first major league season with Texas, he faced the Cubs. 3-0 on Rizzo.
Yeah, the only two Cubs in that game that are here today, Anthony Rizzo and his shortstop, Darwin Barney.
His strikes have not been center cut, have they?
No, and again, just about everything. And I don't think it's, you know, he likes to sink his fastball. He throws a sinker as well as a four-seamer. And everything's been up, and I don't think it's by design. I think he's just having a hard time driving the ball down in the zone.
Well, there are two ways to look at it, right? When you're a starting pitcher and you just don't have a feel for it early, it's how in the heck am I going to get out of this? Or I'm one pitch away, right? You try to think of the I'm one pitch away. 3-2, foul.
A little backdoor cutter there, and that's the other piece of it too. When you consistently miss up with the fastball, good idea to try to throw a breaking ball, something that in your mind you tell yourself you really have to finish the pitch. And sometimes if you make that adjustment, then you can start to get the fastball down a little bit.
Rizzo shortens up. Takes ball four. Bases loaded without a hit. And that'll bring out the pitching coach, Pete Walker.
Pete Walker would probably say to him, you know, if you take a look at the Comcast Xfinity strike zone, you're going to find that you're up and out of the grid a whole lot.
Well, we have a moment. Tim Meza, we saw him in the ball game yesterday. He was sent back to the minor leagues. TJ House, another left-hander, has joined their bullpen. And we understand right-hander Ryan Tepera is under the weather. Roberto Osuna, their closer, I guess, is here and feels well enough to pitch, but they've got the flu bug or something going around the clubhouse. Ian Happ in the air, and it gets past Bautista. Jay will score. Bryant to third. It's 1-0 Cubs.
Well, they finally got one down, but it was hit hard. A play that it looked like Bautista was going to be able to make a play on, and it's ruled a base hit. Maybe knuckling, maybe sinking. Whatever it wasn't caught. And a good start for Ian Happ, who had just a miserable day yesterday, striking out all 4 times.
And with that first run for the Cubs, Chicagoland's own Midwest Equity Mortgage will donate $100 to the Pat Tillman Foundation, supporting military veterans and their families. Boy, does that feel good for Ian Happ after the 0-for-4 strikeout day he had yesterday. Ball one to Alex Avila.
Yeah, this kid is clearly on the ropes here. Get that two-seamer running away, drive it towards the alley in left center.
We're going to give you a ride home after the game.
You're
About
just
4
showing
seconds.
off.
Could be 2. Ref Snyder to Barney, and they turn it. But did Barney touch second base? Joe Madden wants another look.
I love the hand signals from Brandon Hyde. The He points at the dugout, and then he kind of takes his hand and rotates it up and down as if to say, maybe, maybe not, but worth a look. Yeah, he's okay. He left but came back down.
So that'll be a 4-6-3 double play, and after one, it's the Cubs 1 and the Blue Jays nothing. Business baseball. Oh, Canada. We referenced a couple of these notes yesterday.
Yeah, I wasn't familiar with the London Tecumsehs, but they won Canada's first pro title in 1877. They knocked off a hard-hitting Allegheny's club. Babe Ruth, his first professional home run, happened in Toronto while a member of the Providence Grays. First known game played in Beachville, Ontario, 1838, and long before there were the Maple Leafs of hockey, there were the Maple Leafs of baseball in Toronto.
Steve Pearce. 1 ball, 1 strike. Cubs lead 1-0. Hall of Famer Fergie Jenkins, Matt Stairs, Ryan Dempster, all former Cubs from Canada. Larry Walker, John Hiller, Terry Poole. You know Terry. That is a fair ball. Pierce on his way to second. Going to be a play. Safe. Ball got away from Ian Happ. It's a double for Pierce.
Well, the Jays get the big double play ball to get out of the first, which could have been a very ugly inning for Tepish, their starter, but he allows just the one, and now they come back with this leadoff double here. Happ trying to make the catch and sweep tag all at once. He wasn't going to get him, even if he had caught that ball. Strong throw, but a little bit offline from Schwarber.
Center fielder Pilar.
Steve Wilson, lefty reliever, pitched here too, right? And he's Canadian.
Joey Votto from Toronto. There's a pitch by Quintana, and that one rocketed to Bryant, who makes a catch into the glove, up into the air, and then to the bare hand.
Why not? Even if you're just showing off. Listen, Pilar, he hit it hard, great concentration.
It's good to be 6'5". With good hands. Ex-Cub Darwin Barney playing short. Mostly a second baseman with the Cubs. And he fouls off. This is the first game of the day around baseball today. There's some late afternoon starts in a little over an hour. Story of the day last night, Manny Machado hit 3 home runs, including a 9th inning grand slam to win it. Bryant again leaves his feet this time, but the throw gets away. Barney's safe, and Pierce will advance to third. He'll be charged with an error.
Great glove work. Ranging to his left and up quickly. Has to sling that ball across the diamond. That's a tough error. And to really hurry that throw.
Another former Cub, Rafael Lopez. Left-handed hitting catcher. He's on the roster because Russell Martin is on the DL.
Club record, 6 different catchers have made starts for the Jays this year.
And Luke Maile also out. And Montero recently came back from the DL.
I heard they put a call in to Alan Ashby, but he wasn't available.
One strike on Lopez, the 16th round pick of the Cubs out of Florida State, 2011. It's 0-2. His first major league hit, remember, was off Clayton Kershaw.
That's right.
2014. Goes from first. Lopez strikes out. It'll be second and third, 2 gone for Rob Refsnyder. So Barney gets a stolen base.
Yeah, I would think John Gibbons, even with the Quintana left-hander on the mound, would be inclined to force the issue a little bit with the running game down near the bottom of his order. Not a lot of thump and a chance to generate something, take advantage of a mistake. Snyder will get intentionally walked here.
Barney is 5 for 5 in steals this year. Here comes the pitcher Tepish with the bases full. For 6 in his career. That hit came back in 2014 with Texas. He's not going to get cheated. Strikes on Tepish. Double error, intentional walk. And Toronto has the bases loaded with 2 down. The 0-2. After this weekend, the Cubs have a couple more games against the American League. They'll be on the road with the DH at Tampa Bay in September. Cubs got off to a terrible start in interleague play this year. They lost 6 of their first 7 against the AL East and have won 8 of their last 9 against the junior circuit. Swing and a miss, strike 3. 4 strikeouts for Quintana. It's 1-0 Cubs early.
ABC7 Cubs blog at abc7chicago.com/Cubs, presented by Nationwide agent Jeff Vukovich. Go to jeffvuk.com or follow him on social media. Nationwide is on your side. There you go. Prime Minister hearts the Cubs. A little Matthew McConaughey vibe going there, the Prime Minister does.
Yeah, we got a lot of Cub fans in Canada. A lot of Cub fans around the world. We hear from all different corners and different time zones during our Cubs telecasts. One strike on Jason Hayward.
A little bit of a reprieve for Tepish getting out of that last inning. He's made 2 quality pitches here to start the second. Fastball at the knees. Slider well placed, didn't get the call. So often is the case. Just avoid that big crooked number early and then hope to settle in.
Side 2-2.
Missed all of the 2015 season post surgery. He used to throw a little bit harder than he does now, but he's never been a big power arm.
Sounded like he broke his bat, but it'll be a hit as Barney gave it a great effort. Jason Hayward with a bloop single.
Hey, never make any assumptions when Barney's in pursuit. He's a tremendous defender, as Cub fans know. We witnessed back in the day a Gold Glove winner here. Dogged pursuit when he ran out of time.
Comes Baez. What a week he's had. A big insurance home run yesterday. Knocked in 3. Made one of the best, if not the best, defensive play we've seen all year. The home run was his 20th. That helped the Cubs tie club record 5 with 20 home runs. They tied a major league record with 4 20-homer guys in their age 25 or younger season. And Ian Happ could be next on the list. Hayward got a really good jump as Baez fouled.
After the pitching change, had a chat with John Maley. Said, "What's this guy going to throw me?" And Maley said, "Be ready for that second pitch fastball down." Probably didn't say that. He might have.
Okay, so Friday the heroics. Thursday he homered. Wednesday 1 for 4, but what a salvage. After he struck out in his first 3 at bats, he doubled to lead off the bottom of the 9th in a tie game against the Reds. Scored the game-ending run on a wild pitch.
Yeah, Joe was asked about him earlier today, and he's made the point numerous times over the last couple of years. He said one of the great things about Javi is he's got a short memory. You can have a real tough day, strike out 3 or 4 times. Next at bat, next day, doesn't matter. Still brimming with confidence. He's having a very nice month of August. 311, 7 long ones.
It's only the 19th, so he's got a lot of time to continue to compile some numbers, and certainly an early candidate for Player of the Month. Chris Bryant will be on that list. Anthony Rizzo's had this huge week.
Yeah, if you can get Giancarlo Stanton to stop hitting home runs. A number of people.
Oh, that guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I forgot about him.
He must have cooled off, though. We haven't talked about him in a couple of days.
So is Stanton going to win the MVP? on a team that doesn't make the playoffs most likely?
Well, Stanton, Joey Votto. Guys having MVP years on losing clubs.
Votto will almost assuredly end up on a last place club. Baez strikes out, although it didn't keep Andre Dawson from winning it in '87 with the Cubs. It's the first out. Here's the pitcher, Quintana.
It seems to me that over time, though, that the MVP voting has more and more skewed towards guys on playoff teams, which I guess to a certain extent makes sense. And we've had this conversation a bunch over the years. I would just like to see it go to the guy who has the best year.
I'm totally with you.
Reward performance of the individual.
Quintana late.
Goldschmidt, be another guy. Harper.
Half the Dodger roster.
Yeah.
Two on the Cubs pitcher, John Jay, on deck. Have made Tepish work pretty hard here early. And he bunts, he popped it up. Hayward rather is doubled off. And that's it for the Cubs in the second. Double plays helping Tepish in both innings, 1-0. Look at how Jose Quintana has been painting the corners. Brought to you by Benjamin Moore. Paint like no other. Love those inside fastballs to get Bautista and Smoke in the first. Breaking ball gets Lopez. Then he dispatches the pitcher Tepish. 4 strikeouts through 2 for Jose. Like to throw that fastball in on the right-handed hitters. Top of the order for the Blue Jays here in the third. Bautista, Donaldson, and Smoke.
That's not just a quality baby, that's an all-star baby.
Yeah. Well, let's take a look at the Honda League leaders, sponsored by your Chicagoland and Northwest Indiana Honda dealers, as reliable as the cars themselves. 48 career home runs in interleague play. Tied for third among active players with his former teammate Edwin Encarnacion. We want to welcome those viewers watching us coast to coast on MLB Network today. Bautista takes a strike. There's the 0-1. Just outside.
Bautista hit 54 home runs in 2010. He's one of 2 active players to have a 50 home run season on his resume. Chris Davis of the Orioles the other.
A 2-time Major League home run champ. In on the hands, and Rizzo will not get it. Foul ball. Bautista, 20th round pick of the Pirates in 2000, Rule 5 by the Orioles in December of 03. So then the 2004, think of this year. Rays grabbed him on waivers, acquired by Kansas City, traded to the Mets, traded to Pittsburgh, all in very short order in mid 2004. But it was when he got traded to Toronto for a player to be named later by the Pirates that everything changed for him.
Yeah, he had shown flashes in Pittsburgh. He had decent power numbers there. Nothing that we would ultimately see in Toronto. And that's why people would always say, is that the same guy that the Pirates had? Yeah, that's him.
In the run from 2010 to 15. Pretty remarkable. 945 on base plus slugging during that stretch.
6-time All-Star. Try that inside hitter again. That one a little further in. So where does he go here? Got him over the inside edge last time. Does he double up in there again, or does he go soft away? A little two-seamer away.
Bryant from his knees. Got him. Been very busy over there. He's made 2 great plays. Made an error on a throw. This time he took his time.
Yeah, he had a little more time, I think, and yeah, so he's made 2.5 spectacular plays here today from the knees. Little one hopper over there to Rizzo.
Donaldson. I want to wish Kate and Charlie, do not have a last name, but happy 11th anniversary.
You know who you are.
You know. Well, this has not been a good 24 hours or so for starting pitchers. And John Lester going to the DL yesterday. Max Scherzer. Corey Kluber got hurt, an ankle injury, and now reports are Yu Darvish has a back issue.
He came out of his last start. Yu did.
Sounds like he's going to the DL.
Well, with the Dodgers with such a commanding lead, I would imagine any little issue with any of their pitchers is just going to, hey, let's shut you down for a start or 2 and regroup. 51-9 in their last 60 or something absurd like that.
That's exactly right.
And they just acquired Curtis Granderson from the Mets.
And Curtis is in their lineup today, playing left and batting 5th. They're in Detroit. Oh, 2. Almost hit him. Has the sign and a 1-2 offering in tight.
Donaldson came into this game with pretty good numbers against Quintana, 6 out of 13 with a home run. Not a huge sample, but enough to get your attention.
Mentioned Ryan Dempster earlier. He brought as his guest to the ballpark today Don Cherry, Hockey Night in Canada fame, former NHL coach, and he's a legend in Canada for his work on television, and he'll sing the stretch today. Looking forward to that. He's run at full 3-2. Adam Wainwright also.
Yeah, Wainwright back on the DL.
There's Demp and the man they call Grapes, Don Cherry.
I believe I read that Don Cherry was once voted the 7th most popular man in Canada or something.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me a bit. Sharp dressed man. Takes the walk. I was asked by somebody who's unfamiliar with Don, who does he remind you of? And I said, nobody. He reminds me of Don Cherry.
Don Cherry. Hey, Cub fans, start your day the Chicago way with ABC 7 Eyewitness News in the morning. Weekdays with Terrell Brown, Anya Babich, Roz Varon, and Tracy Butler. Don't look directly into that.
No, don't. And make sure you get those special glasses for the eclipse. Tap foul by Smoke. So I got a note from our buddy Ed Hardig, August 31st, 1932. The Cubs beat the Giants 10-9, and there was an eclipse. And they eclipsed the Giants. I love the Tribune headline. Softly hit on the ground, and Happ will glove it to Rizzo. 2 outs.
And no option to get the lead man Donaldson at second base, so an RBI chance for Pierce, who doubled to lead off the second.
On Steve Pierce.
There's another guy who's been around, started with the Pirates, Baltimore, Houston, Yankees, back to Baltimore, Tampa Bay, back to Baltimore, Toronto.
Waves. And strike one.
Among other things, he's getting a lot of experience in the American League East.
Quick look at the runner at second. Now the 1-1. It's 2-1.
You were referencing the Machado game last night.
Yeah.
Walk-off grand slam. I believe, did I read that correctly? That's the 3rd time this year the Angels have giving up a walk-off grand slam. They've got to get better in that department.
They do. To keep the ball in the park in that spot, right? Although on the
I guess
other
it just
hand,
depends if you're down 3 and you give it up. That's a bit,
right. If it's a tie game,
yeah,
you know, if you're going to lose, you might as well lose spectacularly.
Go down in a blaze of glory.
Quintana taking his time with that man in scoring position, and it's 3-2. Pierce. And he got him. So Quintana with a strikeout in every inning, 5 overall, and the Cubs lead 1-0. A lot of birds in the area. To Wrigley Field for their 3rd performance Saturday, August 26th. The band stopped at the friendly confines, part of their welcome home tour, and features special guest Hunter Hayes. Tickets are on sale now at Cubs.com/Zach Brown Band. First 2 innings for the Cubs have ended in double plays. 4-6-3 off the bat of Alex Avila in the first. Quintana bunted and popped it up into a 1-3 double play in the second. 1 ball, 1 strike to John Jay. Walk and a run for John in the first inning. He's reached base at least 2 times in 7 of his last 11 starts. And Jay strikes out swinging. That's number 2 for Tepesh.
Drafted originally by the Red Sox, 28th round in 2007. That was out of high school, and then Rangers in the 14th round 2010 out of the University of Missouri. Or Missouri.
0-1. Fouled on a play. I was reading a little bit about the original Blue Jays logo, which is similar to the one they currently have. The red maple leaf is a little bigger on this logo than the original one back in the late 70s. Schwarber swings and misses 1-2. But the guy who was in charge of designing it felt it was really important to have that maple leaf as part of the logo. Two and two.
Yeah. Well, as I said, the original, well, not the original, but they were the Torontos way back when as a minor league team when they first started playing professional baseball in the 1800s. And then they had a long run as the Maple Leafs.
I read that the Expos, one of their original designs back in the late 60s, had the maple leaf as part of it, but never made it into the logo. And now that the Expos don't exist, I think it's even more important probably that they do have that as part of their logo, right? Being the lone Canadian major league team.
Yeah, they do have a national following.
Yeah, when they go to Seattle,
it's like a home game.
They will outdraw Mariners fans at Safeco.
Yeah, I think that was Dave Steed.
3-2 pitch, swing and a miss. Back-to-back Ks for Tepish.
This is Tepish's third start in a Blue Jay uniform. He made one for the Twins. Twins had him in the minor leagues most of the year. Put him on waivers. Jays claimed him. Sent cash the other way. He's been a highly transacted player in his career, bouncing around, a lot of minor league stops along the way.
His transactions above replacement very high on the list.
I mentioned 4 different AAA stops last year with the Rangers, Royals, Dodgers, and A's. So Round Rock, Nashville, Oklahoma City, and Omaha.
Into the alley. That'll get to the wall. And it's a 2-out double. First extra base hit for the Cubs today. And that'll give Rizzo a chance.
And no chance for an inning-ending double play because there's already 2 outs.
There's that, yes.
Yeah, hit by pitch last time. You see where Lopez is set up. They're trying to go away. Ball drifted back over the plate. Right, having a busy day. Flying around defensively, twice on base.
Outside on Rizzo. Tepish has to feel fortunate to be down only 1-0 as he was having a hard time finding the strike zone and keeping the ball down in the first inning. Got a big double play ball to get out of it. That's a strike.
Yeah, it looks to me like at times he's just having a hard time staying back, keeping his weight back over the rubber and giving his arm time to catch up where he can get the ball down. Now he's made a pretty good adjustment. He's been able to do it a lot better since the first inning, but every now and then it gets away from him.
Blistered foul to right. 1-2 on Anthony.
Wow, look at that. Powerball's up to $535 million. Put a pretty good ball club together with that kind of cash.
Speaking of Manny Machado's next contract.
Two-strike mode, choking up.
Tepish reaches out, flags it down, underhands to first. We'll go to the fourth on a gorgeous day in Chicago. 1-0 Cubs. Is brought to you by Four Winds Casinos, your entertainment escape.
Tomorrow afternoon, the Cubs take on the Blue Jays. First pitch 1:20, and up to the first 5,000 early arriving kids 13 and younger will receive a Clark the Cub Bank presented by MasterCard. After the game, the first 1,000 kids 13 and younger have an opportunity to run the bases. For more information, visit Cubs.com.
So Major League Baseball has been graced with a Kevin Millar and now a Kevin Pillar. He lined out to Bryant his first time up. 2 doubles yesterday, 30 on the year. Leads American League center fielders in 2 base hits.
Kevin Millar had a highlight this year. He went back to his old stomping grounds of the St. Paul Saints and hit a home run.
How old is Kevin these days?
Mid-40s, I'm guessing.
Early 40s, mid-40s. Kevin is 45. 1-2. What do you think of Quintana so far?
Yeah, I really love the way he started the game. The fastball command early against the big hitters at the top of the order. The action on the breaking ball has been good. Last time out, or maybe not so much last time out, but at times.
Tomahawked into right for a base hit.
At times, since he joined the Cubs, watching him pitch, obviously I didn't see a whole lot of him with the Sox. I thought his curveball has lacked depth. But aside from that first start against Baltimore, when he was getting so many swings and misses, last couple of starts, he did not generate a lot of swings and misses. There's always a kind of a breaking in period when you join a new club. You're trying to get used to the the catchers. You know, there's a lot of game planning that goes on with the Cubs coaching staff that may or may not fit what Quintana has done in the past. So there's always going to be a little tension, and not necessarily, no, I don't want to do that tension. Just it's different than the way I've pitched certain guys. And you know, as a pitcher, you always kind of have to commit to what you want to do, but you also want to trust these people who have such good information. So that, you know, I think that's been part of it, just settling in. And
his best start as a Cub was his first, and it was against an American League opponent, the Orioles.
And that's the other part of it too. He set the bar awfully high with that performance against Baltimore. He struck out 12 in that game. Yeah, punched out 12.
One of the best starts the Cubs have received all year from anybody.
8 shutout innings. Did not walk a man in that game.
7 shutout, I believe.
Correct. 8-0 score.
So Pilar on at first. 1-0 on Darwin Barney, and another throw over.
Maybe their best bet to run. 14 steals this year. He's been caught 5 times.
Quintana has always pitched well against the Blue Jays. And that continues today. He's got a 1-0 lead in the 4th.
A little run and hit with Barney. Try to be too quick to home plate and not execute your pitch. He had 9 starts against Toronto. He's allowed two earned runs on 6 occasions. No earned runs the other 3 starts.
Since 2012, he has the best ERA in the majors against the Jays at 177 going into today. That's a strike. So working the edges. That one caught the inside part.
Yeah, I think to me that's his most comfortable fastball, and that's rare. Most lefties down and away more comfortable to the right-handed hitters.
Pilar looks like he wants to go, and Quintana,
like a lot of times,
make sure he doesn't.
When Jose wants to go down and away to a right-handed hitter, he'll catch too much of the plate. But when he wants to go in, he either hits his spot or misses in off the plate.
Now behind 3-1. As Barney looks down to third. Lopez on deck. Luis Rivera is their third base coach. Tim Leeper over at first.
I'd be really surprised if he's not on the move here.
Not
surprised. I'm really surprised.
And JD is surprised. How about now?
Likewise.
Tim Leeper just said, Jim DeShays, can't believe you didn't go. You got to go now. Can't make him look bad.
Or he's saying, don't go. We're going to make him look bad.
Big lead.
Yeah, getting more aggressive with that lead.
He knew he was going to draw a throw that time. He's not going, and a ground ball is fair past the diving Bryant. Pilar to third, Barney to second with a double, and the Blue Jays are in business. As Ernie Harwell used to say, they're flapping their wings here in the 4th.
Yeah, they're setting up shop. 2 men in scoring position. I really think Pilar's presence at first base influenced Quintana a good bit throughout that sequence with Barney.
So it's the left-handed hitting Rafi Lopez who struck out in the second. Cubs will play their infield back. Sharply hit ball to a corner spot. Could possibly throw home. And a foul strike.
Lopez, saw the numbers, has not had a lot of success. He hasn't had a lot of chances here. Just 17 at bats at the big league level this year. He's a guy who never really hit for power throughout his minor league career, but this year he was hitting the ball out of the ballpark a little bit.
That is a base hit. 1 run in. Barney's going to try to score. Here comes the throw by Schwarber. Safe. And the Blue Jays have the lead 2-1. It's a single for Lopez, who advances on the throw. 3 straight hits to start the 4th. So a couple of former Cubs doing some damage here.
A strong throw from Schwarber made it closer at home than I thought it would be. A lot of momentum carrying him towards center field as he turned to make that throw home. Look out, Joe.
Ref Snyder takes ball 1. Guy on deck might be wondering how in the world he has a lead, but he does. Tepesh. And we were wondering if he was going to get out of the 1st inning. Danny Barnes is up in their bullpen.
Yeah, I would imagine John Gibbons came into this one thinking, if I get 5 innings out of my guy today, I'd be thrilled with that, and with an opportunity to maybe add on here, he may be more than willing to turn it over to the bullpen.
Ref Snyder plays multiple positions. He's at second base today. And he grounds to Bryant, who looks back the runner and throws to Rizzo. Tepesh will take the at bat. He struck out his first time. But didn't look totally out of place. He was a good high school hitter, although most future major leaguers are. He hit .410 as a senior at Blue Springs High School. Not a bunting spot with 1 out. Big swing and a miss. Bryant was playing in on the grass, but now he'll back up.
Probably believes in the swing hard in case you hit it school of hitting, which is a solid approach.
Outside. 1-2. Missed again. It's 2-2. and a miss, strike 3.
Time for our Feldco save of the game. As Jose Bautista strides up to home plate. Let's give you a little peek into his world here the last couple of days. Spectacular play by Baez on him yesterday, and Chris Bryant gets him here today. He's flashing some leather on the left side of the infield. It's Feldco's biggest sale of the year. Get $1 installation on window siding and doors, plus no money down, no interest until 2019. 866-4Feldco now.
Popped up, foul ground, and no play for Rizzo. And it is time, JD, for our Subaru Trivia Stumper. It's brought to you by Subaru. Love, it's what makes a Subaru a Subaru. Only player in Blue Jays history with a 200-hit, 30-homer season.
How many guesses do we get? How about Delgado? It's a lot of hits.
That is a lot of hits.
How about Robbie Alomar? It's a lot of home runs.
Wow, that's yeah.
Well, John Olerud.
Just going to throw as many.
Yeah. Well, we're hearing that he did have a 200-hit season, but not 30 home runs.
Bautista strikes out. Jays take the lead. Lopez with a 2-run single, and it's 2-1 Toronto. Fun Cam. America runs on Duncan. Cubs are trailing 2-1. They've had a lot of chances here against Nick Tepesch. Ian Happ with an RBI single in the first, and he takes a strike. Now the Blue Jays have only had 5 200-hit seasons. And Vernon Wells has the club record for hits in a year, 215 back in 2003. And we'll answer our trivia question. I kind of cheated to get the answer, but someone was giving you the list of guys on the 200 hit list. They weren't telling me.
No, I didn't hear that.
You said Olerud had a 200 hit year?
Well, I was just firing off those names.
Oh, I
they,
see.
They were going, but he did have 200 hits.
All right. Deep to left. Tie ball game. Ian Happ with a blast.
Well, if his base hit felt good, that felt really good. Home run number 18 for Happ as he looks to join the 20 home run club. Toughest two-seam fastball. Moving away from him, but no real sinking action, and Happ just rides it on out of here.
So 2 homers on Thursday. Had a very tough day at the plate yesterday. 4 strikeouts and 4 tries. But 2 for 2 this afternoon. He's knocked in both Cubs runs.
Yeah, and after such a tough day yesterday, I would imagine if the Jays had, especially if they had a big nasty left-hander out there on the mound, or just, you know, a strikeout guy, Joe might have protected Happ, not even put him in the lineup here today. But he probably said this is a pretty favorable matchup. Get the kid back on track, and it's paid off.
2 balls for the strike.
I hear it, I don't see it.
That's one you don't have to see. You just feel it.
Ian Happ just got a flyover from the Blue Angels.
That's what you call a curtain call, right?
What's up, Iceman?
Avila with a base hit. So a homer and a single greeting Tepish here in the 4th. And we'll see the pitching coach come back out, Pete Walker. Well, let's answer our Subaru stumper today. One Blue Jay has had a 200 hit 30 homer season. And it was Vernon Wells in 2013. What a year.
Yeah, I would have never gotten there.
2003, Vernon Wells.
Yeah, very nice career. Did Wells.
So Jose Bautista is second among all Blue Jays position players in wins above replacement career. Who's number 1? History of the franchise.
Delgado.
No, good guess. He's number 3.
The position you're talking about,
position players. Middle infielder.
Oh, Alamo.
Nope.
No. Joel Rifkin.
Tony Fernandez. That includes defense and offense. They get 1. That's it. And the relay throw goes out of play. So Hayward will advance on an error by Darwin Barney.
.36 to get Avila. I see him peeking over his shoulder, making sure that Smoke was going to pick up that ball cleanly.
Fielder's choice E6. And Baez will be intentionally walked to bring up the pitcher Quintana.
Yeah, the way Baez has been swinging it lately, if he continues to hit in the 8-hole, we're probably going to see more and more of this.
Jones bunt, takes a pitch in the dirt. There's the bunt. Tepish will pick it up and get it to the second baseman, Rev Snyder, covering first. Check out the variety of luxury premier options that Wrigley Field has to offer for your next client, corporate or family function, like the all-inclusive Fannie Mae Suite located in center field. Visit Cubs.com/premier for an option that fits your needs. We'll have a call to the pen, and it is brought to you by Lakeside Bank. Personal customized banking. Lakeside Bank. It's about time. Tied at 2 in the fourth. By authority of the Chicago Cubs and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Chicago Cubs.
Time now for our Sports Clips father-son moment of the game. They're having a moment. This father-son moment brought to you by Sport Clips Haircuts with over 90 Chicagoland locations. Find yours at sportclips.com.
Danny Barnes.
Second-year man, and 2-3, 282 the ERA for Barnes. Fastballs and change-ups. Averaging a strikeout per inning. Change-up probably makes him good against lefties. There it is right there. Not a particularly good one, but you get the sense that's how he's going to try to get Jay out.
Two 2-0 to Jay, who has walked, scored, and struck out.
Danny Barnes out of that baseball factory at Princeton University. Scott Bradley, former big league catchers. A lot of players, a handful of big leaguers out of there, mostly pitchers.
From Manhasset, New York. Is that the proper pronunciation? Is that right?
Yeah.
And 1. Six 1, 195. Or 205, anywhere in between. It fluctuates. 3-2.
Depends on whether you're using a Canadian scale or not.
He looks to me like he's at about 198.5 at this point, depending on the belt he's wearing today. 3-2. Schwarber on deck. And the pitch. Called strike 3. Jay livid.
Joe just staring him down, waiting for Jay to turn back around. But Joe's been big out there all day. He's called that pitch off the corner. It doesn't justify calling it now, but.
Ian Happ with a home run to tie it. 2-2 after 4.
Got the new AccuWeather app from Eyewitness News. Search AccuWeather in the App Store and download to get Chicago's most accurate forecast. From ABC 7, your AccuWeather station.
Tie ball game, 2 apiece, 5th inning.
2-3-4 here for the Jays for the 3rd time against Quintana.
Donaldson pops foul out of play. In this game, the Blue Jays have gone 1 for 9 with men in scoring position. They've stranded 5. The Cubs 1 for 4 with 5 left. Fair amount of traffic in the first 4 innings. Sharply hit bouncer right to Baez. Plenty of time and good throw to get him. Today's hot and cold players brought to you by Plumbers 911 emergency plumbing service. 1 click away at plumbers911.com. Paul DeYoung having a terrific year for the Cardinals. Mikel Franco will see the Phillies next weekend at Citizens Bank Park. 6 for his last 42.
The way the Cardinals have been scoring runs, there's going to be a number of guys that are hot on that ball club.
1-0 to Smoke. 69 games for Paul DeYoung. He's hitting .305 with 19 home runs. 916 OPS. His rookie season.
Yeah, leads their club in home runs, I believe.
He is wide of first and foul. Fulmer and Ryu in Detroit. Michael Fulmer against Hyunjin Ryu. Dodgers Tigers coming up shortly.
DeYoung with those 19 home runs does indeed lead the Cardinals in that department. If you had Paul DeYoung in the office pool, good for you.
Michael Wacha pitching for St. Louis against Chad Kuhl. Starting up in a few minutes in Pittsburgh. Two and two on Smoke.
Smoke, a first-round draft pick by the Rangers out of the University of South Carolina. Expected stardom for him, and it has happened. It just took a long time. It's interesting. At one time, Smoke, Chris Davis, and Mitch Moreland all with the Texas Rangers at the same time. They're trying to figure out who their first baseman was going to be. Chris Davis first came up. He made a big splash, hit all kinds of home runs, but then all the strikeouts. He ended up going back to the minor leagues. Smoke, they had Moreland. Ultimately traded Smoke to the Mariners. Cliff Lee deal. Traded away Davis to Baltimore, settled on Moreland. Moreland's now a Red Sox. Right?
Slightly reminiscent of the Indians in the 90s. Didn't they have Richie Sexson and Jeremy Burnitz, and they just couldn't kind of break through, so they ended up having to move those guys and flourished elsewhere. Line and caught by Happ. Brian Giles as well, right? He started.
That's right,
in Cleveland, so they had a big group of really impressive offensive players. Just couldn't find playing time for all of them.
And as Theo Epstein often points out, that the development is not linear. Guys rise and fall, some quicker than others. For some guys, the switch comes on a little bit later. For others, it never does.
Speaking of switches, Joe Madden always has some fun analogies talking about the light, right? Said you don't want to put the dimmer on during the season because it's really hard to turn it back up. So he said you keep the light on all year and you go into dimmer mode in the off season.
Yeah.
His thing is he doesn't want guys playing differently in March than they do in June than they do in October. He wants a consistency of effort as a big league baseball player.
Right.
You do what you do.
Yeah, and I think the writers were asking him before the game today about the Dodgers and the incredible year they're having. And so the question I think, he got around to that point was, so do you think he can just flip a switch and beat the Dodgers in the postseason? And his point was, no, I'm not, I want our switch to always be on. I think we can compete against the Dodgers in a short series because I really believe in my club. There's no disputing the Dodgers have been the best team in the league and in all of baseball all year long. But I think the terminology he used in the pregame scrum with the writers was when we're in full gorilla mode, when we're fully healthy and everybody's at the top of their game, he feels like he can compete with anybody.
Pierce takes a call third, and Quintana needed that. His second 1-2-3 of the day. 2-2 halfway home on a gorgeous Saturday. Win a player grade 2016 World Series ring donated by Jostens, with proceeds benefiting Cubs charities. Now through September 4th, Cubs fans can purchase raffle tickets for $10 each. Tickets can be purchased online and at official raffle locations around Chicago. Visit Cubs.com/ring raffle for details today. On Schwarber is a strike from the reliever Barnes, who struck out John Jay to get out of a 4th inning jam. So they've got a Barnes and a House in their bullpen. Fouled away. Hey, happy birthday, Loretta Dolan. Happy 103. Lifelong Cubs fan, always keeps score, never misses a broadcast, and watching and celebrating today with the whole family at her daughter's house in Villa Park. So happy birthday, Loretta. 1 out here in the 5th.
Chris Bryant can hit Loretta a home run right here. Schwarber got caught thinking changeup, didn't pull the trigger on the heater, so it's back-to-back strikeouts for Barnes. Fastball off the plate to Jay. Joe West rung him up, and last one was a good one. Hey, high enough.
Now Loretta, he tried.
Low in.
Catch made by Pierce.
Get back, Loretta.
Rizzo has walked and grounded out.
If you're turning 103 today, you were born 1914, correct?
1914, yeah.
I was looking at the baseball reference birthdays. Nobody there. In 1960, Ronnie Darling came into the world. Speaking of Ivy League pitchers. Our producer John Walsh celebrating a birthday today.
Happy birthday, John. Line shot, and Pilar runs it down. He's a good one out there in center. We go to the 6th. 2-2 our score. Make sure to think Midwest Equity Mortgage, whether it's purchase or refi. Midwest Equity's Chicago-based team has you covered. Midwest Equity is a Cranes Fast 50 and Better Business Bureau A+ rated company, so apply today at MidwestEquity.com. Midwest Equity Mortgage, we bring it home. A 2-2 tie as the Blue Jays bat here in the 6th inning. Pilar, Barney, Lopez, they all had hits in the 2-run 4th for Toronto, and a strike. You see Joe West is wearing a white wristband, and I think all the other guys are too. It is being reported that they are wearing those wristbands in solidarity, as that ball is fouled out of play after the Ian Kinsler comments. I guess they're upset that Ian Kinsler was not reprimanded for his comments regarding Angel Hernandez. Well, remember, Joe West got suspended for his comments on Adrian Beltre. So we'll keep an eye on that story over the next few days. Pilar pulls one foul. Somebody caught it. Was it the ball dude? Yeah, I think it was. And handed it to the fan who was in the vicinity.
Now, if a manager makes disparaging comments about an umpire after a game, typically he will be fined, depending on the nature of his comments. Players, is that? I'm trying to think of an example. Nothing comes to mind.
Yeah, I don't know. Two and two.
Because Ian suggested that Angel Hernandez should find another line of work. So it's pretty pointed. And then apparently they did shake hands, and I think Ian apologized. Maybe the next day or a couple days later. I don't know all the details.
I'm glad to hear that he did. Rizzo will make the catch. So Pilar is out, and we'll bring up Barney.
Well, you figure to beat this Blue Jay team, you got to shut down the top three, right? Bautista, Donaldson, Smoke, a lot of firepower up there. Quintana has done that. They're collectively 0 for 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 0 for 8. Just one reach. The Donaldson walk back in the 3rd, but it was the Pilar, Barney, Lopez trifecta that got him in the 4th.
Ground to Baez. Oh, throw. Ooh, that's a tough hop for Rizzo.
Yeah, that's one of the in-between hops. Short hop, pretty easy play. That kind of long hop that hits you about waist high. This one's right in between. Down nicely, and the ball probably would be better off moving into that ground ball. He likes to sit back on a ball like that. He's got plenty of arm, but sometimes you just get out of your rhythm, get back on your heels, and you don't get enough on the throw.
One strike to Lopez. 2-run single to give the Blue Jays a short-lived lead in the 4th. So with Curtis Granderson joining the Dodgers, Jock Peterson has been optioned to AAA Oklahoma City. He had been 2 for his last 41. Two and two.
I think if you're the Dodgers and you're having the year they're having, they're 86 and 34. It's a historic pace that they're on. You do everything you can, right?
Yeah.
Every move you can make to get even just a little bit better. Poor man wants to be rich. Rich man wants to be king.
Ground ball to Rizzo. Quintana will scoot over there, and they go in order. He's sent down 8 in a row now. Since actually 9 in a row since Lopez's big hit. 2-2 in the 6th.
Look at the Toyota home run cam. Here's Ian Happ leading off the bottom half of the 4th, hitting his 18th home run of the season and tying this ball game at 2.
So Happ will start it. RBI single. Give the Cubs the lead in the 1st. Home run to tie it in the 4th. Barnes has faced 4 and has retired all of them. Dermody, the left-hander, up in the bullpen for the Blue Jays. Almost said the blue pen for the Bull Jays. Felix Pena joined the roster yesterday.
Here's a little Jays history question for you.
Yeah.
Their inaugural game in 1977.
Yes.
At home, their home game. First of all, they had to bring a Zamboni out to clear the snow off the field, which is kind of fun. Who do you think sang "O Canada" on that very first game?
1977. O Canada. Pop star. Anne Murray.
You nailed it.
Well, that was my first
Boom.
guess. I didn't actually know that.
Yeah.
Really?
Yep.
All right, cool.
Apparently they couldn't get Stompin' Tom Connors.
Did Dave McKay have a first? Our buddy Dave McKay. Maybe the first hit or something for the Blue Jays.
Sounds familiar, doesn't it?
I know he was in the lineup that day. Dave from British Columbia. So that had to be very special for him. 3-2. See if Happ gets something he can whack.
Spoiled a pretty good change up there.
Ball 4.
He's having a fine afternoon.
He might be one of the 3 stars, which you often mention, the 3-star selection.
Yeah,
but it would be very appropriate this weekend.
Kind of put on some roller skates and skate in front of the dugout.
Watch your source for everything Chicago. ABC 7 Eyewitness News, weeknights at 10, with Chicago's team of Alan Krzyzewski, Kathy Brock, Cheryl Burton, Cheryl Scott, Mark G. and Greco.
It looks like the first hit in Blue Jay history was actually a home run by Doug Alt.
That was the first homer?
And I think the first hit as well.
Okay. Might McKay have been their leadoff hitter? I don't know. First, Happ is back. So it was against the White Sox, April 7th, 1977. John Scott was their leadoff man. Dave McKay played third base. Batted 8th. Gary Woods was in center for the Blue Jays. Bill Singer threw the first pitch in Blue Jays history. Avila pops it up off of third and to the seats.
We're going to do this again tomorrow, and Kyle Hendricks will pitch for the Cubs. Marco Estrada for Toronto. Kyle was really good last time out. He's having an off year, 5-8 with a 5.09.
2-2. Cubs are off Monday and then back to the road. Cincinnati and Philadelphia. Very colorful part of the schedule. Reds, Blue Jays, Reds. There goes Happ, and Avila bounces to first, right to the bag. It takes smoke. There has to be an American League team, right, that has at some point played the following opponents in order: the Red Sox, the White Sox, and the Blue Jays, the red, white, and blue.
Probably.
Kind of neat. The Cubs' forward upcoming schedule looks like this.
Well, this is this stretch of games that the Cubs are in against last place clubs, and a longer stretch against clubs below 500. They're back from the road trip, and they host the Pirates and the Braves. Both of those clubs below 500. Pirates have dropped 6 in a row.
How about that one last night? Down 11-3 in the 8th. Pulled to within 1 eventually in the 9th, but came up short. Cardinals now winning 10 of 13 and keeping the Cubs close. Swing and a miss by Hayward. 1-2 on him.
Brewers are in Colorado. The rookie Woodruff will pitch for Milwaukee, and Chad Bettis will be making his second start.
Barney in behind the runner Happ, so Barnes stepped off. Close, didn't get the call. So Hayward stays alive, 2-2.
You'd think they'd either go change up or maybe take a shot with that runner off the outside corner, the one they rung up John Jay with.
Foul.
Oh, nice play.
Boy, what a play by
tough hop. Yeah.
Left his feet and everything.
Yeah, smothered that ball. Not on my watch. That's a lot of pressure for the ball guys, right? You're going to make one person extremely happy and a whole lot of people upset.
Well, you need to be nice to them. You should be nice to them anyway.
It's like a reality show down there. Who's going to win the favor of the ball boy? For any dads come up to him at the start of the game, slip him a 20. Hey, if you get a ball, I'll give it to my kid.
Foul tip, strike 3. So 2 away. It'll bring up Baez. Got a base open. We'll see what John Gibbons wants to do here. Although now Ben Zobrist is on deck, not the pitcher Quintana. As we know, could be a bluff. This is when the chess match begins.
Yeah, and if I were Gibbons, the way Baez has been going, I'd be tempted to kind of call Joe's hand here and put Baez on and see. He probably would hit Zobrist in this situation. Barnes, to me, the fastball changeup combination doesn't play as well against Javi as a slider guy. Well, that changeup certainly worked.
Quintana at 102 pitches, 6 innings. So, yeah. Feels like it could be time.
Yeah, so definitely Zobrist would take the at-bat if Baez reaches. Putting Baez on here would be the move that would be most likely second guessed, because Zobrist would be hitting from the left side, would have the platoon advantage. But again, I like the way that changeup plays against the left-handed hitters.
Inside corner, Baez didn't like it. It's 1-2 on him.
Yeah, that side, away to the lefties, into the righties is where Joe's been big all day.
had a good pitch to offer at, and he did, and fouled it. Is he smelling a home run? On the ground, going to be a tough play. It'll get into center. Happ will score. Cubs lead 3-2. That had all kinds of funky spin on it. Barney couldn't handle it. And a base hit for Baez.
Yeah, right off the end of the bat, and you can see the spin as it leaves the bat. I don't think they're going to make a play on Baez, but the inability to knock it down, keep it in the infield, allows Happ to score the go-ahead run. And had Barney not tipped it, Ruffsnyder would have probably gloved it.
So this call to the pen is brought to you by Lakeside Bank. Personal customized banking. Lakeside Bank, it's about time. A change here in the 6th. We'll be back. Cubs lead. Action ABC 7 rebroadcasts each one of its Cubs matchups on the Live Well Network, and today's Cubs Blue Jays Encore will air in its entirety beginning at 7 o'clock on ABC 7's digital channel 7.2 and the following cable channel positions. Miguel Montero comes in as part of a double switch, along with a Midwesterner, Matt Dermody, who's from Norwalk, Iowa, and a product of the University of Iowa.
Just a handful of appearances for the Jays this year. 6 ball games, 1-0 with a 12.60. Down at AAA Buffalo, he was 5-1 with a 3.56, appearing in 33 games there. Had a cup of coffee with the Jays last year as well.
So Zobrist off the bench, batting right-handed. Cubs lead 3-2. And he takes a strike.
Good work by Quintana here today, continuing this good stretch of starting pitching for the Cubs in the second half of the season.
Quality start, and he has a chance to get a win. Straight foul by Zobrist, 0-2.
Zoe looks a little more upright in the box, doesn't he? A 285 lifetime as a right-handed batter, having a tough go of it this season. 171. The swings look better of late, though, and had that wrist issue that he missed a bunch of time with, and prior to that was playing with, and no doubt that impacted those numbers.
Yeah, he does look a little bit more upright. A bouncer to third. Donaldson has it. And we'll go to the seventh. The Cubs have the lead again. Second time today. It's 3-2. It is a pleasure to have with us Don Cherry, the star of Coach's Corner on Hockey Night in Canada. Big fan.
Well, I
Been
can
watching
see the
you
hat
for a
you're
long
wearing.
time.
Look at that hat.
Watched you on Channel 9 in Windsor. Jim DeShays grew up in Messina, New York. Used to go to Montreal all the time.
You're Kingston, right?
Kingston, Ontario.
Yeah,
that's where I come from.
Yeah.
So Windsor, I played for Windsor Spitfires
That's
there
right.
for a while too.
That's right. Hey, I want to mention as we start, and we're happy to have you here to sing today, your buddy and our buddy Eddie Olczyk, and he's watching. He doesn't miss a Cubs game, and he's been dealing with a health issue, and I know he'd love a couple of kind words from you today.
Well, when I read that in the paper, I couldn't believe it because I saw him in the finals, and he looked like $1 million, eh? And I know he's on as well his way because he loves those horses. You know he loves those
Yes,
horses.
he does.
And God love you. We hope you get better.
Goins fouls away. Boy, there's a lot of Blue Jays fans in town now.
Whoa. This is like the Leafs when they go on the road. Everybody cheers for them. They were paid $400 a ticket down there, too.
That's right. Here's Felix Pena.
10 games for the Cubs this year. Up and down a handful of times from Iowa. Big situation for him in a one-run game.
All right, I have a couple questions for you, Don. You used to wear the blazer with the Hockey Night in Canada logo that I have on my hat.
That's the old one.
When did that change for you and you started opening up a little bit? And this
Well,
is one of the best, I have to say.
Well, when I said to Ralph, I said, you know, do I have to wear one of these blue jackets? My beautiful suits. He said, no, it was Ralph Mellenby. He said, he was the producer. He says, no, wear what you want. And it's full now. All my Cubs, everything's full on it. I'll tell you.
How many suits do you own?
I really don't know. I swear to God, I don't know. I own a lot of shirts. I go through them, and they're very uncomfortable. As my dad used to say, better to look good than feel good.
Well, you look like $1 million. 1-2 on Goins. Is it true that you suffered a baseball injury?
I did. I was told not to play baseball, and I loved baseball, and I was playing baseball. And that summer, I dove after a ball. I separated my shoulder. And in those days, there was only 6 teams, and when you got in the bad books, you were done. And I was next 22 years in the minors after that. But I did. I was going after a ball, and I in Kingston, and that was the end of me. That was the end of my NHL.
Going swings and misses. Avila will pounce on it and throw out Goins.
So where were you in your hockey career at the time? So this is an off season.
No, this was I was supposed to make the Bruins. I come up in the finals, and I played semifinals, and I was supposed to make them. And they said, "No, don't." I got hurt once before in baseball. They said, "Don't you play baseball?" And I'm like a fool. Story of my life. I went out and got hurt, and that was the end of my NHL career. Well, until I got back coaching.
Here's Miguel Montero, a former Cub, digging in. First at bat today.
This is nice. You know, the Bluebirds were out a little bit yesterday, and the fans responding positively here. And no doubt some Jays fans, but some Cub fans as well.
Some people I talked to drove all the way from Winnipeg for this game.
Is that right?
Oh,
That's fantastic.
That's a 4 or 5 day trek, I'll tell you.
All right, now I'm going to ask you a question, and I know the answer because I watch you every week on Saturday night. Why don't they give you enough time? Feels like you're constantly fighting the clock. I want to hear more of Don Cherry during the intermission.
Yeah, I know. I can't believe it. 6 minutes and you're off. I guess I get in too much trouble or something. I don't understand it, but I fight I try to get it 30 seconds and that. And Scott Moore's in the game. Ed Guy's in the game here somewhere. But I don't know why. They give me the 5 minutes, 7 minutes, and they get me off, I guess.
Tell them all your American fans want more
I'll tell
Don
them.
Cherry.
Yeah, I don't understand it. I said, my son said, the key to my success is brevity.
Now, you were here for the Red Wings Blackhawks, weren't you?
Yeah, I stood out there and I couldn't believe it. I felt I got chills just thinking of Babe Ruth. You know, I mean, just walk up here and this is the Wrigley Field, unbelievable. I mean, it's the feel of this place. And there's always a buzz, hey? There's a buzz. You can feel a buzz going on there. What a spot to watch a game. It's an honor.
1-2. As Montero fouls back. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure you walk into a place like this and it reminds you of the old Garden in Boston, Maple Leaf Gardens,
Chicago Stadium.
Chicago Stadium, yeah.
Boy, that organ, that organ, it's something. I guess they couldn't take it out. They had it in the ceiling or something. But that was Chicago Stadium, boy, when that All-Star game when they had the sparklers and that. Boy, that didn't get you going.
There's a 1-2. Got him. Called strike 3. 2 outs. All right, so here's the deal with the stretch. Yeah. You're going to have about 42,000 of your biggest fans helping you, so you cannot go wrong.
Well, I'm nervous, I'll tell you that.
You should be. It's fun.
I am, big time.
Take it nice and slow. Gary Pressey, I know you met Gary.
He's a Bruin fan.
Yes.
He's a big Bruin fan.
Yeah, so you'll do great.
Yeah, he's going to help me out. That's what he said. He's a Bruin fan. He remembered Bobby Schmott scoring and the whole deal. I couldn't believe it.
And strike on Bautista. Well, as you know, this has been hockey heaven here in Chicago with this current Blackhawks group.
Yeah, it wasn't too good in the playoffs this year, though.
No, it wasn't.
4 straight. Running a hot goalie, eh? And they outshot them 3 out of the 4 games. But you know, you get a hot goalie like that, it kills you. You can't do anything. But that was a shocker. 4 straight.
And 1 on Bautista. Rip.
Best player you ever saw?
Oh, no question about it. You had to meet it for Bobby Orr. I mean, the last year he played National Hockey League as a defenseman, he got 46 goals, 89 assists, and plus 123 and had 100 minutes of penalties. Nobody close, as far as I'm concerned. Of course, he played for a great coach. That year.
I was going to say.
That's right.
Last night I was at his Hall of Fame dinner up in Parry Sound, and I had to drive back and. But he packs him in up there. You met him. He's just a humble guy. He's a great guy.
2-2 on Bautista. Cubs lead 3-2 here in the 7th. filed away. And I should note, for those who don't watch you every week, you don't just cover the NHL. I mean, you're watching junior games. You're at a hockey game about every night, right?
Well, my son is Timothy is he's a scout for the OHL up there, and we see the minor midget games. We saw McDavid, Stamkos, all those guys when they were 14. So we see them all. Some rinks are pretty cold up there, I'll tell you.
So so you get a good look at these kids before they ever get here, and you're on them early.
Well, there's Tibbet. You watch this kid; he's going to be, and guys like that. There's a lot down Stevenson, and like I said, I saw McDavid when he was 14. You could tell then. Stamkos, Skinner, go down it's a GTHL out there. There's 40,000 kids. 40,000 kids play in one league. 40,000, if you can believe it, and so we're there all the time, and I enjoy it. I mean, it's better than working anyhow.
JD said his dad gave him 50 cents for a goal and 25 cents for an assist.
I played minor hockey back in Messina. That was my incentive. That was my first contract. My first professional contract was my dad.
Man, you were big enough. You must have been a big defenseman. Yeah.
Another foul.
Messina, there are a lot of hockey players coming from.
Good hockey town, yeah.
Yeah, like in Rochester. When I was there, I coached the general manager and a coach there. Very few, maybe one or two. Now there's 3 or 4 comes from northern New York.
The Bogosian kid, Zach Bogosian, he's a Messina kid.
Yeah, Gianta. A lot of the kids there. When I was there wasn't any.
Pitch, and this one fouled by.
They were just starting to come then. They were just starting to get into the swing of things, and well, we got a lot of kids. Buffalo looks like they'll have a pretty good club again this year, but they didn't do very good last year. Good fans.
Swing and miss. All right, here we go.
All right.
7th inning stretch is presented by Mercedes-Benz, the best or nothing.
Yes, conductor for Take Me Out to the Ball Game. Former NHL coach and current analyst Don Cherry.
Wrigley Field, lovely day. Let's sing Terry's favorite song. You ready? 1, 2, 3. Take me out to the ball game. Take me out with the crowd. Buy me some peanuts and Cracker Jacks. I don't care if I ever come back for its root for the best team. If they don't win, it's a shame. For it's 1, 2, 3 strikes and round at the old ball game. Thank you, Chicago, and go Hawks!
To just pinch hit is now playing short. And Barney will move over to second. Thanks to Cherry for stopping by. Great job. He was nervous.
Nailed it.
He did. See, Don is not the most PC broadcaster, but he said the best team. He didn't want to upset Blue Jay fans or Cub fans. As John Jay shoots this one the other way, and Pierce will make the catch. Albert Almora Jr. will hit for Schwarber. Nice job, Felix Pena.
Yeah.
In the 7th inning in a 3-2 lead.
Yeah. Outstanding job.
So I'm guessing Almora will stay in the game and play center. Jay will move over to left. Will be a base hit as Bautista could only knock it down, so Almora is on. So he's got 3 hits in the series, 2 yesterday.
Pitches up and out away from him and just smooths it on out to right.
Dermody's pitch buried in the dirt. Look out. Got hit in the first by the starter Tepish. It was a glancing blow. It's the corner. 3-0. Entire field still in the sun. Some shade now starting to crawl over the warning track up along left. That's a strike.
I guess. Not sure whether he's supposed to be on the move here or not.
Goes Almora and a ground ball to third. They'll stay out of the double play. Bryant is out, although the way Chris runs, he might have been able to beat out that double play chance anyway.
RBI Baseball 2017 returns with fast-paced pick-up-and-play MLB action packed with all your favorite MLB teams, players, ballparks, and much more. Get RBI Baseball today for Xbox One, PlayStation 4, and mobile devices. Learn more at RBIGame.com.
By the way, lest there be any confusion, Gary Pressey, our buddy, who plays the organ here at Wrigley Field, he's not a Brewers fan, he's a Bruins fan. A couple of people on Twitter saying he can't be a Brewer fan. No. You knew the answer to the question, the greatest player of all time.
I knew he was a big Orr fan.
Don would say.
And Bobby played for him.
Got Some hockey players from the University of Saskatchewan in the ballpark today, and one is a Cub fan. Nice to have them here. 2-1 on Rizzo. You'd love some insurance. The Cubs were able to add some on the Baez home run in the 8th yesterday. It was after the Blue Jays stormed back, got 3 in the top of the 8th to make it a 1-run contest. Could get down, and it will. Here comes Almora. 4-2. Rizzo with his 13th RBI of the week.
Yeah, having a heck of a week. It's a little 6-game hitting streak for him now. It was 11 out of his last 21 coming into play here today, and this is just a little fight-off blooper into shallow right. But it got the job done.
Rizzo draws a throw. Happ pops to right. Bautista battling the sun. He's got it. Cubs add to their lead on the Rizzo RBI hit. It's 4-2 to the 8th.
Fans, start your day the Chicago way with ABC 7 Eyewitness News in the morning. Weekdays with Terrell Brown, Tanya Babich, Roz Varen, and Tracy Butler.
Almora does stay in and play center. Jay goes over to left.
Well, heavy lifting to be done by Hector Rondon here in the 8th. 2-3-4 due up for the Blue Jays. 3-1 with a 470 for Hector so far. He pitches for the 49th time. He has allowed runs in each of his last 3 appearances. 2 2/3 innings of work in those 3 outings, and he's allowed 5 runs, a couple of home runs, 3 walks.
Fly ball to right, way up in the air. And Hayward keeps his feet moving, 2 hands on it.
It's good eclipse practice right there. Well, good start for Hector. Is that helping him find the ball, or is that his way of saying, I got this, guys, everybody relax?
Now time for the Dodge Out of Town scoreboard. Join the Brotherhood of Muscle at the Dodge Summer Clearance event going on now. Cardinals lead early over Pittsburgh, delayed for some reason in the second. Don't know if it's rain, but they're going to Williamsport tomorrow, right?
Are they?
It's a big Little League Classic tomorrow night. That'll be fun.
Short fences, that'd be tough place to pitch.
I think they're going to have major league dimensions.
Velocity will really play at 45 feet
Can
too.
you imagine playing on a Little League field?
That would be fun.
Ooh, little flinch by Joe. It was like a check swing for an umpire.
Yeah, well, he's been pretty generous out there on that edge, especially with fastballs. Maybe that was a backdoor slider. Maybe you saw it differently. Well, this is fun. Jays fans getting fired up. Cub fans responding.
41-5-58. Inside the friendly confines. 99, but missed outside. 2-2. Full count, Pierce on deck. Felix Pena struck out the side in the 7th. Rondon dealing with a tough part of this order here in the 8th.
Yeah, it's they've been quiet so far. They're pretty quiet yesterday as well.
That one hit pretty well, but Hayward will get it on the warning track.
Well, sometimes you just got to throw it in there and hope for the best. Smoked it. And he's lined out for the 2nd consecutive at bat.
The Blue Jays in the order right now. They've got a Hawkeye and a Pierce. Dermody went to
Dermody's
Iowa.
an Iowa guy, yeah.
For you younger fans out there, you might want to Google MASH. Bounce toward third. Hits the bag. Bryant throws it into the stands. What a play just to cleanly glove that ball as it hit third base, but then his throw was awry.
Yeah,
his second error today.
Yeah, both of them really tough errors. The first one came on a play where he left his feet, had to scramble to his feet and hurry the throw. This time, awkward bounce takes him out of his rhythm, and he just has to heave it across the diamond.
So it's going to be a single and an error. And that's I think the right call.
Yeah, I agree.
I think if you hit the base, you need a base hit. Kind of in the definition, right?
Yeah, so reach on the single, advance on the error. Cubs had only committed 3 errors over their last 9 games. These errors doesn't always tell the whole story about a club's defensive work. You talk about plays not made, balls that aren't caught that probably should have been run down in the outfield. Sometimes a bad decision in terms of what base you throw to. Very hard to quantify.
Pilar pretty tardy. And that 98 heat boring in on him. 0-2. We'll throw that again. Might be going up with some heat. Yep.
Now, Pilar goes out of the zone more than any hitter in their lineup. So once you get the jump on him, certainly worth a couple of shots, whether you go way up with a fastball or way out with a breaking pitch. That one pretty easy not to bite at. Nice play by Avila back there. Don Cherry would have given high marks for his save.
All about the goalie. A 2-2 count on Kevin Pilar. That's a 2-strike swing and a spoiler. Cubs led 1-0. Blue Jays grabbed the lead on a Rafi Lopez 2-run hit in the 4th. The Cubs tied it on an Ian Happ homer in the bottom of that inning, and then took the lead on the Baez single in the 6th, added a run in the 7th. That's a base hit. Coming around third is Pierce. Jays throw is cut off. The right thing to do in this spot to make sure Pilar stays out of scoring position. It's a 1-run game, 4-3.
Yeah, with 2 outs, Pierce getting an aggressive break off of second base. There's no way you're going to throw him out here. So yeah, you got to make sure you make that throw low where it can be cut off.
Kendrys Morales will hit for Barney. He's a switch hitter. And here comes Chris Bosio from the dugout. It's kind of starting to feel like yesterday. Blue Jays making it interesting late.
Yeah, they got to Pedro Strop yesterday in the 8th inning. Strung some hits together, put 4 hits together, scored 3 runs. Made it a 5-4 ball game. Then Baez hit the 2-run home run in the bottom of the inning to give the Cubs a little cushion.
Morales steps in with 21 home runs, with 30 last year with Kansas City. 34 years old. '11th Major League season. All in the American League. Angels, Mariners, Twins, Royals, now Jays. Bounce to first. Rizzo to the bag. The Jays get an unearned run, and it's back to a 1-run lead for the Cubs in the 8th, 4-3.
Firm grade 8 stat of the game. Most extra base hits by a third baseman in his first 3 major league seasons. You see Chris Bryant right there with 193, among the best all time. 8 extra base hits in his last 8 games. This grade 8 stat of the game is brought to you by Mattress Firm, where we want you to sleep happy, guaranteed. Remember, if it's over 8, it's time to replace.
So we got some changes. We'll start out in right. Ezequiel Carrera is out there. Goins goes to second. Batista's actually the third baseman, but they're shifting. And Donaldson is now the shortstop. Dermody still working to Alex Avila, and a strike. 4-3 Cubs. So it will be a pinch hitter, Goins and Montero in the 9th. So that's the 7, 8, 9 part of their order. Wade Davis, 25 out of 25 at 1-2-3 yesterday. Imagine he would face Aoki again in that leadoff spot in the 9th. The 0-2 fouled away. Just missed.
Well, Aoki's all they've got, right?
That's
Carrera,
it.
with Carrera coming into play defensively here.
Now Batista and Donaldson have swapped. Always have to keep an eye on the defensive alignment. I don't do it as much as I should with the shifting. I'm trying to figure out who has the ball. It's like watching a football game now, right? Guys in motion.
Different formations.
Way to stay alive by Avila.
The Jays have seen a lot of Avila in the American League over the years. Play him the way we see most clubs play him. Pull shift on the infield. Step the other way in the outfield.
And trying to position the defenders where the ball will likely be hit. You used to play pickup games, and you wouldn't have enough for 9 defenders, 2 outfielders, and you have to pick a field. Right?
Yeah, I had to call your field.
So if you pick left field, you hit it to right, you're out.
Nobody ever picked left and right. Right? You always it was either center left or center and right.
Yeah, how could you though? Swing and a miss, strike 3.
The contrarian.
Paint lines on the field to do that.
Yeah, and that was always, you could always have a good argument too. How far to the offside of center field could you get away with before you were automatically
maple
out?
Tree to the left of the pole to the line, and then the oak tree to the line and right.
Yeah, and there would be a certain amount of self-esteem lost if you called the opposite field. You're supposed to be able to pull the ball Oakland. Sandlot ball.
Swing and a miss. And then did you play pitcher's hand? You
Not
played that a lot.
much, no. Where you just throw it back into the pitcher and you're out.
The pitcher was the first
before you get to
baseman,
first
basically.
base, yeah.
So if you threw it to the pitcher before the runner reached first, he's out. Ghost runners, very common. Makes me want to play baseball.
Yeah.
2 strikes to Hayward. Did he go? He did not. Ben May made the call at third.
Somebody's little brother would show up and want to play. Yeah, you could be all-time catcher. Talk about hazing.
Good take.
You can be all-time catcher, and even if you catch that pop-up, it doesn't count as an out.
A fun weekend here. Cubs a 7-4 win yesterday, leading 4-3 in the 8th today. And Hayward out in the deep right, but it's going to be caught. It sounded good, didn't it?
Yeah, he catches a lot of balls. Just a little too deep. He doesn't get the barrel out in front, so it imparts a lot of that backspin. Just kind of takes off, and then it's almost like it hits a wall.
Busy day for John Gibbons. I think he's enjoying this NL style of managing. And the call to the pen is brought to you by Lakeside Bank. Personal customized banking. Lakeside Bank, it's about time. We'll be right back. Waivers by the Cubs from the Mets will be here either tomorrow or Tuesday. And he tweeted, "Now's the time for this new chapter in my career with the Chicago Cubs. I am really excited for it." He's got the hashtag right too, fly the W. Nicely done by the newest Cub. Nori Aoki is in to play right. And again, he'll bat in the 7th position, meaning he'll lead off the 9th. It's Dominic Leone to pitch.
Leone 3-0, 263 as he works for the 48th time. Tough to hit, just a 195 batting average against him. 54 2/3. He's allowed just 38 hits. Mid-90s heater, cutter, and a slider. So Carrera came in for defense.
Played for 2 batters.
2 batters.
He's out.
He's out. Aoki's in. Bench is empty for the Blue Jays. That was a little bit clunky, that whole the way they handled that.
Swing and a miss by Baez. 0-2. Let's see, Goins batted for Refsnyder. Right?
And Morales hit for Barney.
Right. Yeah, it's making my head hurt.
Yeah.
Just thinking about it.
I guess it was just the Avila Hayward starting the inning. He wanted to keep Dermody out there, and that's why he wasn't able to double switch out of the pitcher spot.
Right. 2-2 on Baez. Leon is from Norwich, Connecticut. Clemson University product, 25 years old. So we will head to the ninth. Cubs lead 4-3. Is brought to you by the 2017 Mazda CX-9. Mazda, driving matters. Say hi to your friends.
Hello, friends.
We'll get back to them.
Welcome in Wade Davis into the ball game. He recorded the save yesterday, his 25th in 25 tries. 3-1 with a .238 to go along with all those saves. He's got Aoki, Goins, and Montero, and should anybody reach, Bautista.
So the franchise record and the record holder is in the ballpark. Ryan Dempster, 26 in a row. So he's trying to tie that. A swing and a miss by Aoki.
Bryant pinches at third.
0-2.
Avila was fooled by that pitch. Miscommunication.
So Dempster's club record started August 2nd, 2005 and went through May 1st, 2006. 26 consecutive successful save conversions.
Sounds like a religious experience.
Fouled off, still 0-2.
Davis working back-to-back days for the first time since the end of July. Not all that long ago, but he has not been worked particularly hard of late. His third appearance on the homestand. He worked twice on the recent road trip.
No swing by Aoki. So 3 left-handed batters against Davis to start this 9th inning. As JD mentioned, if anybody gets on, Bautista will get a chance. Ground ball to short. Baez picks it up, goes to first, got him.
Aoki runs well, and he gets a bit of a head start the way he kind of leans and slashes out of that left-handed batter's box. Nice smooth play by Baez to get the lead man.
Owens had that big 2-run single in the 8th yesterday to make it a 1-run game. That was off Pedro Strop. Struck out as a pinch hitter in the 7th today, and then came in to play short, now playing second. They're scoreless in Detroit in the 5th. Dodgers and the Tigers today. Ryu against Fulmer. Ground ball. Bryant can't get it. Little deflection. No. Baez got him at first. He just keeps one-upping himself.
How about this play? Just beyond the reach of Bryant. A late adjustment by Baez. This is incredible stuff.
A game of adjustments. When you can get Wade Davis to do that, you know it's a good play. Mr. Poker Face.
Yeah.
Montero with 2 outs, 9th inning. And a strike. Cubs trying to clinch the series. The finale tomorrow. High fly ball center field. Albert Almora Jr. Cubs win. Cubs win 4-3 the final.
I like the no drama in the 9th with the dangerous hitter Jose Bautista waiting. Davis gets him 3 up, 3 down thanks to the efforts of that man. Javi Baez, spectacular the last couple of days here with the glove work. Quintana rock solid this afternoon. Picks up his 4th win in a Cub uniform, his 8th on the season.
Kind of a workmanlike effort today, wasn't it? Nothing too flashy except for Baez, of course, but just a nice 1-run win.
Yeah, Ian Happ drives in a couple, hits a home run. Rizzo with a big 2-out knock to provide that 4th run, which proved to be most important.
So the first place Cubs, a 4-3 winner today. We'll have more from beautiful Wrigley Field next.